We on, King.
Shalom, family. Shalom, man. Let's give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah. That's coming in the name of Yahweh Shah, who the world equally calls Christ. This is COTC. We are the children of the covenant. I'm here with my brother Guzano,
Shalom, family.
and today we want to talk about is the law righteousness. If you've been following, we started off with how do you show God you love him? Then we came behind that with is the law curse? And we're gonna follow up with is the law righteousness? So quick note, scripture does not merely say the law is good. The scripture defines the law as righteousness. Sin has unrighteousness. Therefore, the law defines righteousness by defining sin. So if righteousness is right standing before God and the law defines what is right, then the law will have to be righteousness. Can we get Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 25, Baba Kashal?
Khan. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God as he had commanded us.
Khan. So it's no metaphor, no symbolism. A plain reading of the text will show you that obedience equals righteousness. Can we get First John chapter 5, verses 17, Baba Kashal?
The book of First John, chapter 5, verse 17. All unrighteousness is sin, and there is a sin not unto death.
So another plain reading of the text would show you that all unrighteousness is sin, right? So righteousness would be keeping the law, and unrighteousness would be breaking it, because breaking the law is sin, right? Let's go to First John chapter 3, verse 4, Baba Shaw.
The book of First John, chapter 3, verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law.
So sin is breaking the law, right? So unrighteousness would be the breaking of the law. So if the breaking of the law is unrighteousness, then what would be keeping the law? Righteousness, right? Let's go to Romans chapter 7, verse 12, Baba Kashab.
The book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 12. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just and good.
So if we look at holy, which equals set apart, just, right? Righteous, and good equals morally pure, then Paul is not attacking the law. He's actually affirming his righteousness, right? Let's go to Psalms chapter 19, verse 7, Baba Kashab.
The book of Psalms, chapter 19, verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yahweh is sure, making wise the simple.
So the law restores the soul and teaches wisdom, right? It's a guide towards righteousness. Let's get Psalms 119, verses 172, Baba Kashab.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 172. My tongue shall speak of thy word, for all thy commandments are righteousness.
So we see every commandment of God is an act of righteousness. So obedience would equal right living. Let's go to Romans chapter 3, verses 31, Baba Kashab.
The book of Romans, chapter 3, verse 31. Do we then make void the law through faith? Yahweh forbid. Yet we establish the law.
You see that? We establish the law through faith. So faith doesn't nullify the law. It upholds the law, has the standard of righteousness. Let's go to Psalms 119 and verse 1, Baba Kishar.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 1. Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of Yahweh.
Who walk in the law of Yahweh. So walking in God's laws is the path to righteousness. Let's look at what Psalms 119 verses 97 and 98 say, Baba Kishar.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 97 and 98. Oh, how love I the law! It is my meditation all the day. Thou, through thy commandments, hast made me wiser than mine enemies.
All praises. So loving and meditating on the law gives understanding and leads to righteous living. Let's look at Psalms 119 and 142, Baba Kishar.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth.
So God's law reflects his eternal righteousness. The truth and the law are inseparable, right? So to those who say that the law is a curse, we have a conundrum because the law is the Bible is saying that the law is actually righteousness. So let's go back to Psalms and read 119 and 165, Baba Kishar.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 165. Great peace have they breaking up. Commute up, King.
I was muted, King.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 165. Great peace have they which love thy law, and nothing shall offend them.
So loving the law produces peace and a righteous, stable life. Let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 25, Baba Kishar.
God. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahweh our Elohim.
Kind. So I like the way the brother put the emphasis on do, right? Because obedience to God's commandments is the standard of righteousness. Let's go to First John chapter 5 and verse 3, Baba Kishar.
The book of First John chapter 5, verse 3. For this is the love of Yahweh, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous.
So loving God is expressed through keeping his righteous law. So a quick reminder, today we're trying to establish, is the law righteousness? And I believe so far we have seen that the law is in fact righteousness. Let's go to Romans chapter 13 and read verses 8 through 10, Baba Kishar.
Khan, the book of Romans chapter 13, verses 8 through 10. Owe no man anything but to love one another, for he that loveth another has fulfilled the law. For this, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not covet. And if there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law.
So God's law is fulfilled by righteous love towards each other. Let's go to where we at? First John 14 and 21. Baba Kashab.
The book of John, chapter 14, verse 21. He that has my commandments and keepeth them, he it is that loveth me. And he that loveth me shall be loved of my Father, and I will love him and will manifest myself to him.
Con, I ain't gonna lie, man. I love that verse, right? So it says, he that hath my commandments. So it's one thing to have his commandments, right? But he says, he that keepeth them, it is he that loveth me, right? Let's go to First James. Let's select First James. Let's go to James chapter 1, verses 25. Salakia.
The book of James, chapter 1, verse 25. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he, being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed.
All praises. So we see doing the law, keeping the law, right? Having obedience to the law brings blessings, right? It is righteous and it's perfect. Let's go to Psalms 119 and verse 44, Baba Kashab.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 44. So shall I keep thy law continually forever and ever.
So I shall keep thy law continually forever and forever. That don't sound like the laws are abolished to me, but continual obedience to the law is righteousness in action. Let's go to Psalms 119 and read verse 11, Baba Kashal.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 11. Thy word have I hid in mine heart, that I might not sin against thee.
So internalizing the law prevents sin. And we all understand sin to be unrighteousness. So internalizing the law prevents sin and it guides to righteous living. All praises. Let's get Psalm 119 verses 105, Baba Kashab.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 105. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path.
A light unto my path. So the law illuminates the path of righteousness. Let's get Psalms 119 verses 128, Baba Kashab.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 128. Therefore I esteem all thy precepts concerning all things to be right, and I hate every false way.
Mm-mm-mm. So all God's commandments are right, and following them is righteousness. Right? So again, let's say it one more time. Let's get Proverbs 6 and 23, Baba Kashab.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life.
So we see the law directs us towards a light, towards life and righteousness. Right? Let's get Matthew chapter 5, verses 17 and 18, Baba Kashab.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verses 17 and 18. Think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled.
So Yahweh Shah himself, right? He confirms the law is righteous and enduring. Let's get Romans chapter 6, verses 14 and 15, Baba Gashar.
The book of Romans, chapter 6, verse 14 and 15. For sin shall not have dominion over you, for ye are not under the law, but under grace. What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law, but under grace? God forbid.
So we see that the law defines sin, right? And it says, for sin shall not have dominion over you, right? So if the law defines sin, then what is following it? It will be righteousness. Let's get First Peter chapter 1. Yeah, First Peter 1, verses 15 and 16, Baba Kashab.
The book of First Peter, chapter 1, verses 15 and 16. But as he which has called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation. Because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy.
So we see holiness is achieved through obedience to God's laws. Righteousness reflects his holiness. Now let's go back to one of my favorite verses, John 14:21, Baba Kashab.
The book of John, chapter 14, verse 21. He that has my commandments and keepeth them, he it is that loveth me. And he that loveth me shall be loved of my Father, and I will love him, and will manifest myself to him.
So it's crazy that we constantly see in the scripture that those who keep the commandments show that they love God, right? And God says, I will manifest myself to you, right? I will love you, right? Because his love equals obedience to the law, and the law equals righteousness. So almost timed out. Salakia. So again, the whole premise is the whole question of the lesson is the law righteousness? And so far we see that the law is what? Holy, right? It is just, it is good, it's truth, it's life, it's light, it's wisdom, it's understanding. It's all these things, and none of those things is what? A curse. None of it. So when we deal with people that say the law is sin, how can that be when Romans 7:12 says it's holy, just, and good? How? Why do people use faith to cancel the law? Well, Romans chapter 3, verse 31 says we establish it. Why do people use grace to replace righteousness? Well, Romans 6:14 says God forbid. And for the life of me, I don't understand why people use love to try to replace obedience when 1 John 5:3 defines love as obedience. Right? So again, holy, just, good, truth, life, love, righteousness is defined by the law and those who keep it. So if you're asking me the question, is the law righteousness? I would have to say, yeah. The law defines righteousness. Righteousness is obedience. Therefore, the law is righteousness. And with that being said, man, we want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah, that's coming in the name of Yahweh Shah, who the world calls Christ. I hope you brothers were edified and learned something today, man. But with that, we want to say shalom, man. We love y'all.
Shalom, family.